Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2025, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 77 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2050 to 2030, and Viksit Bharat at 2047. In collaboration as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. So before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, is commemorated as World Sketch Note Day on January 11th each year. The World Sketch Notes is a composition of English words for sketch and notes. The art has a very high and a very large fan base. Countless sketch notes have their say and their picture have created various formats. Classic sketch notes, dawn receipts, sketch types, charming travel memories in sketch form, to-do and shopping lists. The very act of sketchnoting does two things: helps one remember better, and it lifts the mood because of the cute graphics. It's based on the good listening skills and the ability to sift information to capture visually what is important. Although traditionally, this traces the earlier writings by humans is as old as human life, and in the West, the Mesopotamia writings between 3400 BC and 3300 BC, note taking and creative ways of capturing ideas were always in demand. One of the ways of doing this is brainstorming, where groups get together and think creatively and use sketches and words to get new ideas. So sketchnoting builds on this, with an individual taking notes in interesting, memorable way. The earliest reference of sketchnoting, sketch visuals plus notes text, dates back to early 2007, when designer Michael Rowe decided to experiment with a new approach. This was to enhance comprehension while taking copious notes. While attending a design conference, he had taken just a small pocket-sized notebook, which was too small to write everything. He began listening and analyzing, capturing the big ideas he was hearing, seeing, and thinking about into listening, and lettering and drawing. Thus, the process of sketching plus noting was born, and other people began following. The art uses the visual alphabet, a collection of shapes and symbols that can be used to create a wide variety of sketches. It is much like how letters are joined together to form words. Basic shapes such as dots, circles, lines, waves, triangles, and squares can be rotated, distorted, and combined. as designed. People can use these symbols and sketches as they desire, and they build their own enhanced alphabet built on their meaning associations. Today is also commemorated as International Thank You Day, celebrated yearly on January 11th every year. So it is a day that serves as a reminder that we ought to express our gratitude to those who have made our lives better in some way. What better month to reflect on this beginning of the year? So we often forget to say thank you because we take it for granted or we assume that others know how we feel. This day was founded to recognize the importance of always saying thank you. Today is also commemorated as International Parity at Work Day, which is celebrated on January 11th. It's a global day of action for promoting equitable pay, regardless of a person's race, country of origin, gender, or sexual orientation. Globally, women earn 84% of what men earn. On average, the parity is stark if you are an immigrant woman, a person of color, and have children. People from LGBTQ communities suffer horrible discrimination, where sometimes the fight isn't for recognition but sheer survival. On this International Parity at Work Day, we celebrate diverse workplaces. So, the first International Parity of Work Day was on January 11, 2017. The inaugural event held in London featured multicultural performances, inspiring dialogues, and awareness building on pay discrimination. It was an international event as business communities in Japan, Sri Lanka, Australia, and the United States also got on board. Discrimination in the workplace is rampant even today. What's shocking is that workplace discrimination still continues in the most developed countries, despite the prevalence of several anti discriminatory laws. One of the main reasons for disparity in bias, whether intentional or unconscious, employers tend to make hiring decisions influenced by a host of biases, cultural, social, or personal. Rarely do candidates land jobs solely based on their skills. The layers of inequality can be complex. They can also vary across geographies or industries. Take gender disparity. For instance, men dominate boardrooms and executive positions in companies worldwide. Women often struggle to rise through ranks as quickly. Within the dynamic, it's challenging for trans workers to get their due. Similarly, other LGBTQ employees struggle with coming out of the closet. The fear of discrimination forces many employees to lie about their personal lives. Ethnicity can hugely impact job quality and income. Typically, unemployment in African American communities is double that of white people. Although we moved many steps ahead in this regard, the average earnings of most minority communities remain dismissal or dismal. So, more importantly, where individuals live and study can profoundly shape their future. People may have only access to schools without resources or academic rigor. Lack of awareness or exposure to STEM fields can hinder more women from pursuing fulfilling careers. The glaring disparity in early education manifests itself years later, usually as income disparity, lack of opportunities, and discrimination. On International Parity at Work Day, we keep the conversation alive, a reminder to keep the momentum going across all forms of inequality in the workplace. Today is also commemorated as Kosrae Constitution Day in Micronesia, which is commemorated annually on January 11th. The instituting of a constitution in the state of Kosrae. Kosrae, which was formerly known as Kusai or Strong Island, is an island located in federal states of Micronesia. As such, it is one of the four states of federated states of Micronesia, and it comprises the main island of Kosrae, as well as few neighboring islands and islands. The most significant of these neighboring islands is Lelu Island, which is inhabited by 1,500 people. The land area of Kosrae measures about 42 square miles, making it capable of sustaining 6,600 people. The state capital is Tofel, with the highest point being Mount Finkel, which stands at 2,080 feet. Archaeological evidence shows signs of Kosrae Island being settled in early years of 10 and 1000 AD, including the city of Lelu, which existed from about 1250 to 1858, having had a population of 1500 in its heyday and occupying some 27 hectares. The island featured burial pyramids for its notable natives. Today is also commemorated as Learn Your Name in Morse Code Day in US, which is generally celebrated on January 11. Morse code is a method of telecommunication used to encode messages in a sequence called dashes and dots, or dits and das, which sounds like clicks. This is an international Morse code based on the basic Latin alphabet with extra Latin letters, Arabic numerals, and punctuation. Each character in international Morse code is represented by a unique sequence of dots and dashes. Morse code can be to the trained person be heard or seen. So there is recorded note that Samuel Morse created the system in the 1830s with the help of his assistant Alfred Lewis Wayne. Morse code was later improved by an American scientist, Joseph Henry, which they were ones who modified this electronic mode of communication and unveiled it on January 11, 1830. Telecommunications began to evolve and the Morse code system became pivotal during the World Wars. During World War II, Morse code was used between warships and naval bases because radio frequency was limited and easily identifiable by military enemies. The US military still trains a number of its recruits on the old communication system since it may prove useful should all other communication systems fall in a time of need. While the use of Morse code may not be what it was, its legacy still lives on. Romantic notions of Morse code arose with the idea that spies and smugglers use it for their operations. Morse code was used as a standard for maritime distress until 1999, with only the popular SOS remaining in people's memories. The main use of Morse code these days is within ham radio or amateur radio clubs. When using the Morse code, widespread use is abbreviations and codes. The codes are quickly learned. In many cases, free training is given by ham radio enthusiasts. Interstellar 2014 and Titanic 1997 are the movies that widely depict the use of Morse code. Host a movie night with friends and family and take extra care to note how the Morse code was relevant. The intriguing language is being kept alive by ham radio clubs. Find out how they work and attend a communication season. Songs with Morse code include Astronomy, Domain by Pink Floyd, London Calling by The Clash, and The Tide is Turning by Roger Waters. And even in Telugu movie also a famous song is there, Morse code. And it is an art. Thousands of works of wall art worldwide depict or contain Morse code. Before the invention of the Morse code, Samuel Morse used to be an artist, but was a painter. A captured soldier blinked torture in Morse code when he was being recorded. Their variation is called SCATS, Standard Korean Alphabet Transliterate System. Koreans and Japanese have their code. If you are looking for a secret way to convey a message, then Morse code is what you need. Morse code has been known to save lives because of secret messages conveyed. There is no age restriction. Learning Morse code, everyone can learn it. All you need is interest. Unlike how there are thousands of languages in the world, there is only one language for Morse code. Everyone translates Morse code the same way, so you don't have to worry about the person not understanding. Today is also commemorated as birth anniversary of national artist Satang Dila Rama in Philippines, who is a Philippine singer, vaudeville performer, and someone who embodied a significant part of pop culture heritage of the people of Philippines. She started her career in entertainment as teenager and went on to dominate the industry all through her years as an adult until her retirement later in her life. She was cultural icon in the Philippines, becoming the first ever Filipina actress, a firm believer that art should be accessible to everyone. She performed in big theaters of Manila and some unconventional places, such as cockpits. She was married to Armando V. Hernandez. Today is also commemorated as Cigarettes Are Hazardous to Your Health Day on January 11 to create awareness of the high smoking rates and the health disadvantages of cigarette smoking. A cigarette is a narrow cylindrical container with burnable material, usually tobacco, rolled into a paper for smoking. The cigarette is lit at one end, creating a smoldering effect and resulting in smoke that is orally inhaled through the other end of the cigarette. This is most common method of tobacco consumption, and manufacturers of cigarettes have described the cigarette as drug administration system for the delivery of nicotine in acceptable and attractive form. The term cigarette, as it is commonly used, usually refers to a tobacco cigarette, but sometimes the word also refers to other substances such as cannabis cigarette or herbal cigarette. The earliest forms of cigarettes were similar to the predecessor and close relative to the cigar. They are said to have probably originated in Mexico and Central America around the 9th century in the form of reeds and smoking tubes. The Maya, the altered later Aztec tribes, smoked tobacco as well as other psychoactive drugs during religious rituals, and they frequently depicted images of priests and deities smoking on temple engravings. Until recent years, the most common methods of smoking were smoking the cigarette and the cigar in the Caribbean region, Mexico's Central and South America. The North America, Central American, and South American cigarettes comprise various plant wrappers, and upon their return to Spain, maize wrappers were introduced with fine paper wrappers coming in the 17th century. The resulting product, which was called papelette, was documented in Goya's paintings La Cometa, La de Marina, and El Mazanas, and El Jugo de la Pelota a Pala, both of which are 18th century artworks. The cigarette crossed into France in 1830, and this is where it received the new popular name cigarette. In 1845, the French state tobacco monopoly began manufacturing cigarettes, and the French word for the product was adopted by the English in 1840s. Although some American reformers promoted the spelling of it as cigarette, it was never widespread and that later became absolute. After the use of tobacco in English-speaking cultures became more widespread during and after the Crimean War, British soldiers imitated their Ottoman Turkish comrades and Russian enemies, whom they had seen rolling and smoking tobacco in strips of old newspaper, as a proper cigar rolling leaf was unavailable. So this was enhanced by the development of tobacco for cigarette use, as well as for the development of Egyptian cigarette export industry. Some of the hazards attributed to smoking include cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, strokes, and even cerebrovascular diseases. Even with one cigarette a day, you are still at risk of developing cardiovascular diseases. Even if you are not actively smoking, someone around smoking can also lead to passive smoking, that you inhale the smoke left by them or from their cigars or cigarettes. Smoking tobacco always comes with a risk. The combination of a type of cigarette and frequency of smoking can increase harmful consequences, and there is no safer option for cigarettes. Cigarettes are hazardous to your health as well as to the environment, and it is a good day to abstain from cigarette smoking. That is the reason behind the name of this day, to encourage people to think about their health and avoid cigarettes. You can volunteer to join any advocacy groups within your locale against tobacco consumption. This will benefit both your community and yours. Cigarette smoking is a big deal globally, and despite many efforts, awareness of its adversity is not yet enough. Sharing information online could help bring awareness to more people in your network. Cigarette smoke contains about 7,000 chemicals, and about 70 of those are cancerous. Tobacco use is responsible for about 5 million deaths every year in the world. 90% of the of the smokers start before age 80. Out of every group of 10 smokers, 9 started before the age of 80. 1 in 5 deaths in the United States is related to smoking cigarettes. The general life expectancy of the average smoker is 10 years shorter than that of a non-smoker. Day is also commemorated as Heritage Treasures Day in UK on January 11th of every year. It is a perfect day to let everyone know that your unique heritage, about your unique heritage. It's also a day to preserve monuments and raise funds for the iconic landmarks all over the globe. Conserving wildlife is also part of this day. By raising awareness and educating others about these structures and creatures, we celebrate who we are, where we came from, and how we all are related. The Heritage Fund is the largest dedicated grant funder of the UK's heritage work to champion the value of heritage for everyone. Anything from the past that is valuable and worthy to pass on to future generations can be considered heritage. Positive things happen when we share, understand, and value our heritage. Cultural heritage includes physical structures or locations such as historic buildings and archaeological sites. Artifacts maintained and transmitted by generations in the society. Cultural heritage includes physical structures or locations such as historic buildings and archaeological sites. Artifacts maintained and transmitted by generations into society are also considered cultural heritage, like sculptures, paintings, and books. These are called tangible cultures. It's not just monuments and objects. Through Some of the examples of intangible cultural heritage are living expressions passed down from our ancestors, such as performing arts, traditional skills, and oral traditions. Customs, rituals, ceremonies, arts, crafts, music, and politics, as well as ideological beliefs that influence culture and behavior. All are part of it. So are the folklore traditions and languages. These are all important in maintaining cultural diversity. So, national heritage is natural characteristics and physiological geological formations that make up the habitat of endangered species of plants and animals. It also includes natural areas of value to conservation, science, or natural beauty, since its inception. The Heritage Fund, through the National Lottery, has donated approximately $9.4 billion to support over 40,000 projects. With multiple funding programs, each provides different amounts for the funding of different projects. Heritage Treasures applauds their work and it is also commemorated as National Arkansas Day in US. Created in 1836, Arkansas is the 25th state to be added to the Federation. It is also called the Wonder State of or Natural State because of its numerous parks and water bodies located near the Mississippi River. Arkansas comes from the word Arkansas, and its territory was initially occupied by native tribes Osage, Caddo, and Quanpa. In 1541, the first European explorer to reach the territory was the Spaniard Hernando de Soto. The land was later explored by Frenchmen, of which the first to settle down was Henry de Dante in 1681. Henry created a European settlement in the Quapa village, the Arkansas post. The Louisiana purchase a transaction where French Louisiana was sold to the United States occurred in 1903, making Arkansas the 25th state to become a part of Union. The capital of Arkansas is a Little Rock, which is also its most populated city. The mockingbird is the Arkansas insignia. Its flower is apple blossom and its tree is a pine tree. Arkansas is also known for its natural landmarks. It is a center of tourist attractions with its hot springs, rivers, rocks, and museums to mark its rich history. The state is popular for quartz, diamonds, and million-acre forests, truly earning its name as natural state. The state is also an active agricultural producer of cotton, rice, and soybeans. Arkansas ranks as the 34th most populous, more than 3 billion residents, and the 29th largest state in the United States. And its current governor is Asa Hutchinson. Today is also commemorated as National Girl Hug Boy Day in US. It celebrates the power of hugs. A hug warms our heart and makes us feel love. It heals and says what words sometimes cannot express. On this day, girls can go around giving hugs to whomever they want. They don't have to wait until National Boyfriend Day. Besides, it doesn't just have to be their boyfriend or someone they have a crush on. Anybody they appreciate deserves their hug. Today is also commemorated as Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day in US. If you are a rain lover, a child or a child at heart, you definitely should not miss a chance to have fun outside on January 11th, which is Step in a Puddle and Splash Your Friends Day. is especially for the rainy season. We go out in the street and splash ourselves and have fun. This day came into limelight in night 2014 has been reported by many media platforms, including Bustle and Elite Daily, and has gained recognition in many homes. It is also commemorated as Secret Pal Day in US, and we are stoked to get unusually loud with a person we whisper our secrets to. Secret pals will forever hold a place in our hearts. They are understanding, trustworthy, and a relief from outer emotional baggage and mental stress. It is a great way to celebrate relationships and their impact on our psychological well being. Secrets are nearly as old as time. Everyone keeps secrets to protect themselves or their relationships or to uphold a certain image. Children begin to keep secrets as early as 5 years old. We are so worried about our secrets transpiring that we undergo mental stress while trying to keep them hidden. We keep secrets by creating a heavy room in our minds and locking up all access to it. This room restricts our thoughts and affects our mental and emotional. The more our minds wander to the secrets in our heads and make us emotionally distressed. That is what makes our secret pals so special. They are always there to rely on and maintain our confidence. They also lessen our burden by offering advice and care without making us feel judged or guilty. Sharing secrets help us to build stronger and long-lasting relationships on Secret Pal Day. It is also commemorated as Spaghetti Awareness Day. It's all about educating others on the effects of this bone disease. Bones, much like blood, skin, and organs, continually repair and renew throughout the course of human's life. Baggett's disease affects the process in such a way that bones can become deformed or fractured over an extended period of time. The most common areas affected by Baggett's are the spine, skull, pelvis, and femur. The first Baggett's Awareness Day was held on January 11, 2019, which was also the 205th anniversary of Sir Paget's birth. On this year, each year, those in Paget's Association and its public community are encouraged to wear blue and do at least one small thing to inform the public about the painful ailment. Today is also commemorated as no longer New Year's Day on January 11th every year. The day was created arising from the notion that New Year's greetings can last for many weeks on end. As a matter of fact, however, New Year's greetings need not persist. So, engaging in holiday behavior is believed to relax people at work more than they should, hence, creation of no longer New Year's Day. Day is also commemorated as National Vision Board Day in US. It is celebrated annually on second Saturday in January. On January 11th this year, to encourage us to set our goals visually, the day seeks to help us to reimagine and achieve goals in every area of life by effectively visualizing them to life. It is based on seeing is believing in the sense of what we arrange. The day was inspired by a group of friends who came together in 2010 to set goals and dream big life uh, dreams in a fun and creative setting. National Vision Board Day was initiated by Kellan Lutz and Ryan Daly in June 2015 to inspire people to take action by helping them visually lay down their goals. The day seeks to inspire people to live the life they always dream of by making it come to life and today is also commemorated as National Milk Day in US. Not to be confused with World Milk Day on June 1st, National Milk Day in US falls on January 11 to observe the very first time milk was delivered to homes inside sterilized glass bottles. It took until 1878 before anybody thought to fill bottles with milk and seal them with a wax paper. Before that, conditions for storing milk, let anyone delivering it, was unsanitary at best and downright hazardous at worst. But now that we have technology to pasteurize and deliver fresh to homes, store, and processing facilities, by today's standards, milk with its 9 essential nutrients is considered a staple food, technically able to support human life without the addition of any other food groups to balance it out. Other life supporting foods include sourdough bread, red beans, and surprise. Of course, most of us aren't on milk only diet, but milk is very first food as babies and often remains a common source of nutrition throughout our adult lives. So we invite you to join us in celebrating the oldest and arguably the most natural food for all mammals of the world, that is milk. Milk is packed with vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients important for your health. It contains 9 essential nutrients, calcium, and that your body needs to live. And it also delivers some non-essential nutrients like sugars and fats, which can provide your body with Milk is pretty great by itself, but this creamy white liquid is also the foundation of entire dairy food group. We have whole milk, where none of the milk fat has been separated, as well as lower fat milk like 2% blended and skim milk. There are other creams which are higher fat content milk products that were removed from the skim milk, like milk's creamy vary in fat content depend on how we use them. Heavy creams are used to make butter and whipped cream, while lighter creams are used to produce dairy variants like yogurt, cheese, and ice cream. It is also commemorated as National Human Trafficking Awareness Day in US. Through the entire month of January has already been recognized as National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. This day is specifically dedicated to awareness and prevention of illegal practice, and this day is also separated by this World Day Against Trafficking Persons as established by the United Nations. Since the Senate established the day of observance in 2007, it has drawn massive public support from individual donations to government organized events. The horrific injustice of human trafficking can affect people of any race and background. On this day, we are called to fight human trafficking wherever it exists. Human trafficking, according to UNITAS, is the exploitation of another person for labor, domestic servitude, or commercial sexual activity by force, fraud, or coercion. It is also the act of enslaving or exploiting unwilling other people. Unfortunately, slavery in some form has existed for hundreds of years and persistently exists today, though many are unaware of this fact. It was after the recognition of transatlantic slave trade as immoral that governments began to discuss white slavery, the term used at that time for sexual human trafficking. 1904 saw the passage of the International Agreement for the Suppression of the White Slave Traffic, written into law by European monarchs, and 12 countries signed the International Convention for the Suppression of the White Slave Traffic. The League of Nations soon changed the name from white slavery to traffic in women and children. So with this, we shall end today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been raised in the form of votes. So see you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night.